St. Louis source. Can you talk about Caleb McCullough's performance and also as part of that, like the defensive job in the red zone or near the red zone?
Yeah, well, obviously Caleb, I mean, first on him, that's a guy who was here through all the mess. And he was here when all the bad things were happening. He was here the 3-9. And then I show up and tell him, just stay, just stay. He's here again, we're 3-9, we suck again. Right? And then just stay, believe. He's one of the few people that stayed. And for him to make that play is awesome. I mean, kudos to him, gave him a game ball. And then the defensive performance, just unbelievable the way they stepped up, specifically in the first half in the running game. First half in the running game, I don't know the exact statistics, but we held them to, I believe, 3.6 yards a carry, other than their 120-yard run that they had, which is unbelievable. And then they got us on a few darts in the second half, tackle pulls, but good scheme by them. But Caleb, just the definition of really what this team is, and that's just continuing to fight, not getting rattled, and finding a way.
Michelle Gardner, Heroes on the Field. Kenny, can you kind of talk about what this means for your program? You talked about Utah, your admiration for them, your consistency, and how far this game can go for you to establish yourself in this program to establish yourself.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing today is, when you look at the rushing statistics, we ran the ball decent, right? And you stopped the run decent versus a program, not a team, a program that's their identity. And I would love to say this one win puts us on that level and gives us that consistency, but it doesn't, right? It just shows that we're in the right direction. It shows that we're trending in the right direction. It shows that what we're doing is working, right? But it takes a lot of commitment. It takes an entire organization in order to, okay? It takes an entire organization in order to build what they built. And I know with Graham, I know with the new leadership that we're going to be a program that can sustain this, and that they're invested in investing into our strength staff, invested into our recruiting staff, investing into our assistant coaches' salaries, that they've made guarantees to me that they're going to invest to make this one of the best programs in the country. And I think we have one of the best staffs in the country, so I'm excited to try to create some continuity here.
We got Doug right over here.
Doug Allen with The Athletic. Kenny, can you just describe the post-game craziness on the field and what was that like, just kind of navigating through that?
Yeah, chaos, absolute chaos. And then all of a sudden I was shaking Coach's hand, and then there was, thousands of people on the field swarming around us. And it was awesome, though. That's what college sports is about. That's what Activating the Valley is about. That's what's coming to a college is about. You go to a school, that way you can remember moments like this. You go to school and you get your education and you go in the real world, but you remember moments like this, not just our players, but the fans, the students. They remember these moments. I think that's the fun part about college football is you get to create memories, not just for your team, but for, at Arizona State at least, 80,000 people, 100,000 people at a time that are students here, and that's pretty cool.
We had our mics died, but shout your question as loud as you can.
Yeah.
Devin Henderson, WCSN. In the second half, obviously Keyshawn Elliott was able to come back. What went into your guys' decision making to keep Caleb McCullough out there and to keep letting him play?
He was playing well, he was in a rhythm. Bottom line, he deserved it. So playing well in a rhythm, deserved it, and guess what? Game was on the line. He closed it out.
David?
We talked last week about the response of the defense to the offense's turnovers. Again this week, one turnover, but the defense held Utah to a 3-and-out right after. What do you got to say about the defense's ability to come up big in those situations?
Yeah, our defense played really, really well, especially after turnovers, especially in the low red zone. I mean, we talked about if you want to beat Utah, you have to win the margins, right? They're a team, they usually shorten the game, right? They limit games to 9 possessions. They get you frustrated because you're on the sideline on offense. So in order to prevent that, you have to run the ball. You have to win the turnover battle. You have to win the margins. And what are the margins? The margins are the middle 8. The margins are low red zone. The margins are 3rd and 4th down, right? You got to win those margins if you want to beat Utah. And we won the margins when it comes to low red zone. And that was really the difference in the football game, was that margin. And kudos to our guys. That was been an Achilles heel for us going into the bye week. We made an emphasis to get better at it. We pointed it out. We worked it in the bye, and we've been better at it since we've come out of the bye. And all about the guys. This team. This is all. I don't even get pregame speeches, guys. Our own guys get pregame speeches. Think about that. I leave, and they talk. because it's not about the coaches, it's about these guys.
Got Ryan first and Mike right here.
Hey, Coach. You guys obviously were picked last to finish in the immediate Big 12 preseason poll, and then ended up beating the team that was picked to finish first in the conference on your home field. So first off, for you guys as a program, how does that feel for you being able to kind of like defy the odds and adversity? And then for you as a coach, being able to kind of will this team above where everybody else had them ranked at the beginning of the season?
Yeah, it's not about me, it's about the leaders. Those leaders do a phenomenal job setting the tone. Like I told them, we're only going to be a team as good as our leadership, as good as how hard our players, our best players play. In my first meeting, that's what I said. I said, everybody who thinks they're a good player? Who thinks you're one of our best players? Well, we're only going to play as hard as you play. So if you raise your hand, then you just put yourself in a higher pedestal. And if you think you're a leader, if you think you're one of our better players, then you have to play harder than everybody else because you're now the standard. So with great power comes great responsibility. And with those guys, I think they're setting the standard high. And hopefully they're setting the standard for the young guys in our program so this becomes the standard. And hopefully the standard continue to raises, which is how hard we play. And we're still getting too many, penalties, passionate penalties. But like I told them, I'd much rather teach a dog who bites to put him back in the cage than try to teach a dog who barks how to bite. And if our guys get physical penalties, and we get violent penalties, we're going to try to coach that and get that tone down. But a big reason we're winning football games is because we play hard, we play with passion, and I want guys who bite, not guys who bark. And we got to teach them how to bite a little less. But it's definitely easier to teach them that than how to bite. And with that, we were picked to win 4 games this year, so a lot of Sun Devil fans obviously picked the over in Vegas, right? For those of you guys who won, put that money back into the collective. Because you get to celebrate these wins, you get to have another cold one with your friends, you get to have great Saturday nights. That should be enough for you already. Take that money that you've won, put it back into these kids, put it back into that collective, right? And let's enjoy the rest of the year.
With you in the queue, thanks for the patience. I got Mike, Jordan, and Sam.
Coach, when you talk about the, obviously when you have to run up easier for complementary football, I talk about all year where the defense is being played and the offense is going to roll a little bit of defense, even on third downs. But obviously, but is this game, just from what you saw, is the ultimate complementary football from both sides of the ball?
Oh yeah, that was back, and we go for a 4th down with 9 minutes left because our best player, the running back, says give me the ball. So we're going to give him the ball. Like I said, this is their team, not mine. It's theirs. And if our best player, the guy who's one of our best guys, wants the ball, we're going to give it to him. Bottom line. And we got stuffed. And guess what our defense did? We stopped him. They had his back. And then guess what we did? We got it back, and he finished it. And then Caleb finished it. And it's it was just that, what you just described is the definition of a team. And we were that tonight.
Jordan.
Hey, Coach, back here.
Hi.
Hi. Go with Sam going down. What was that like from your perspective? And then the offense still able to finish that drive, but then eventually getting him back. What was it like making those adjustments on the fly as a team, getting Jeff out there?
Yeah, we have a lot of confidence in Jeff. We really did. Put him in there, we put the ball in his hands, and he goes and scores a touchdown. And then we go in there the next drive, and 2nd down, 1st down we call a run, doesn't really go anywhere. 2nd down we call a pass. If I remember correctly, he throws a little snag route to the single receiver. Throws a good ball, good read, right? We get stopped a little bit short. 3rd down, we get a 1st down, and then they get us to get off the field. But it wasn't due to him. He went in there and executed the calls. And kudos to him for being ready. He's a veteran. He's a guy who, in today's day and age of football, transferred here not to be the number 2. He transferred here to start. And there's there's great power in what it means to the football team that you have a guy who's a senior who transferred here to start to win the job, and he didn't. And he's a great teammate, he's a great person, and he goes in there and he gets the job done when he was called upon. And that's the culture we're trying to build, and that's the program we're trying to build. And I think what he did tonight and how he's handled himself just tells you everything you need to know about him.
Sammy.
Coach, a couple of weeks ago you mentioned how the running game has been good, but not a lot of explosive plays. Tonight, 2, I think 40-plus yard runs to score touchdowns from Stan. Can you describe what he means and what that explosiveness brings to that offense?
Huge explosive plays, especially versus Utah. Teams that don't give up explosive runs. That's their MO. They don't give up explosive plays. But it all works together. You know, the O-line played great. Cam's hard to bring down. Quarterback running game and the moving of the pockets. We called it a good game with the quick games mixed in there and the jet sweeps. But it's just critical. You have to have explosive plays to win football games. You know, it's actually, talk about the margins, explosive play rate is the second highest statistic that correlates to wins behind turnovers in college football of the major statistics. They're harder to like measure, like everybody wants explosive plays, right? So it's a little bit different. You know, I don't quantify them as important because everybody wants them all the time, but they are definitely a direct correlation to winning, and we had those when it mattered most. And the one thing that's awesome for our guys is we're playing our best football in the fourth quarter. You know, and I think that's a testament to we talk about our workload in practice and how people think we're crazy because we put up 570 workloads week 6, and we're putting up back-to-back 570 workloads on a Tuesday, Wednesday practice on week 4 last week, or week 5 last week, I'm sorry. And people are like, golly. But then in the fourth quarter of 2 games, right, we find a way. And that's a kudos to the guys believing in the work, because a lot of people could be calling their buddies and saying, they ain't doing this. Why are we doing this? And our guys are just bought in and they believe in the process.
Yeah, one more quick, Coach. What was the decision to maybe go for 2 right there at the end of the game? Was there a decision at all, or not to go for 2? Were you thinking about it at all?
On what situation?
After Cam scored the last touchdown?
Oh, to go up 9 or 8?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely go up 8.
Okay.
Only from a perspective of, you never want to put yourself in position, in my opinion, to lose, right? So if you go for 2 and don't get it, you're exposing yourself to potentially losing. Whereas if you're up 8, you're still 1, depending on when they score, you may have another possession, right? If they were to score fast, and you can't lose, right? So the combination there, I think, was not really a debate for me.
Try our best to get to everyone. Jacob here.
Coach, entering tonight, Utah was top 5 nationally in least first downs conceded in the game and getting off the field on 3rd down. Those were 2 stats tonight and last week in the second half against Kansas that this team has gotten better at. What has been sort of the message to the team and the emphasis on improving on those 2 formats again since that Texas Tech loss?
Yeah, I wish I could say it's like, oh, great coaching. It's not. It's these guys' belief. It's these guys, the work that they put in all off season. It's the work they put in throughout the week. Like I said, this is, I get to stand up here and people get to say Dilly and all the cool things but this is really all about our players. They're the ones who have changed this place. They're the ones who are putting in the work. They're the ones that believe, and it's all about them.
We're here. Chris.
Well, it was called back. Obviously, there was another targeting call. Easy to your mindset what you saw on the play and kind of what went through your head.
Well, I saw not targeting, and then what went through my head was, I can't believe that was targeting. But you got to remember, targeting's always reviewed up top. So anything that's close, you're going to throw the flag because it's always reviewed. So just because somebody throws a flag for targeting doesn't even mean they really believe it's targeting. It just means they want them to slow the game down to look at it. Because they didn't call roughing the passer and targeting. If they would have called roughing the passer and targeting, then even if the targeting was taken off, there still would have been assessed the roughing the passer, the 15-yard penalty. So they didn't feel like it was a violent penalty. They just felt like there was a chance that his head made contact in the head or neck area. So sometimes they throw those flags almost to guarantee reviews, to just like alert people, let's review this and take a peek at it because it was close. So yeah, it's hard when it's like reversed. They call it and you're like going crazy. You're like, that's not targeting. And they're like, well, we're going to review it. And then it wasn't, of course. But what was going through my head was, no way.
That's good, Chris.
Can you just put the 570 workload into more context? Like, what is that relative to what maybe is average, and what is it compared to last year? And also when you're mostly outside in 100 degrees?
Yeah. Well, last year we were, a great day was about 510, 520. The average end when we got into the Tuesdays, mid-season, we're about low 4s. Because we lost so many guys. So very hard to practice at a high rate. So we're about, somebody do the math, quick math, they're 25-30% higher workload per day, which is a fourth quarter worth of workload more. a day. And to compare it, I compare it to, that's how Oregon practices. Which means that's how Georgia practices. Means that's how Alabama used to practice. And it's hard to do that when you don't have the depth. And we're building the depth and we're building the toughness to be able to do that. Now you got to be able to balance that. And we're half of the year, so we have to be able to pull back a little bit. And the fact that our guys on a short week, 6 days rest, versus a team that's on a bye, who gets their starting quarterback back, where we don't get 2 full days of practice, can go out and do what they did and find a way to win with every single odd stacked against them is unbelievable. And it shows me that we can take a little bit off these guys, that they can be focused, and maybe we go from one of those workload days or 2 of those workload days down to 1 here these last 6 games to try to keep these guys fresh.
Tia?
Coach, last time you guys played Utah, not a lot that happened during last season. What does it say about the development of the team's culture and how far along you guys are with coming this 1 year getting the win?
Yeah, last year's Utah game was interesting, to say the least. Definitely was not fun by any means, but just testament once again to our guys in terms of just put in the work. I mean, you can't shortcut it. The work is the work. There's not a secret potion or a secret formula to have success. It's if you want to achieve something, you have to care about it and you have to put in the work. And our guys have done that from winter to spring to summer when they thought they were getting an NCAA video game early, right? They still did it. And even though people thought I was evil when we did it, but it's all about the work. And it'll always be all about the work, and these guys are all about the work.
Doug?
Kenny, 2 questions. Number 1, you can sit up there and be as modest as you want. The previous regime dragged this thing through the muck. It usually takes about 3 to 4 years to save a program after that. You've done it in 18 months. What is the number 1 thing you did to get you where you are now? And number 2, Cam told us when he was here that you challenged him this week. And not a lot of coaches challenge their number 1 guy. Yeah. What did you say?
Yeah, well, I always challenge Scat. Scat needs to be challenged. That's his personality. And if you let him get comfortable, people, in my opinion, he's always been one of the better players in their team. And most people they say they coach their best players the hardest, but you don't. Most people don't coach their best players the hardest. So, he wasn't on a kickoff. He's been on kickoff for us, and he wasn't on kickoff when we took kickoff. And I said, what happened? You wonder why are we falling off? It's because our mindset's changed. Why aren't you on kickoff? That's who we are. Same thing I said last week, and I challenged him, and then I challenged him again this week that, these are the games that people are going to watch. And he rose to the challenge. And in terms of, what do I think the one thing is? I couldn't tell you. Recruit good kids. We're very big on recruiting people who fit us. The rankings are awesome, and they do matter. Don't let anybody get you wrong. There's some stats behind that, but more importantly than that is you get the right guy. You get people who love football. You get people who are good people. You don't lie to people in the recruiting process. So when they are here, it's not I tricked them here. They're no, this is what I told you. I told you you were going to work. Here you go, Sam. I told you you would have a chance to win the job. You won it. Congrats. Take that times 120. It's, people think because I'm young, I'm going to relate and play video games, and that's good, which I am, by the way. But at the end of the day, it's about honest conversations with people. And in the recruiting process, it's about telling people the truth, not what they want to hear. And I truly believe when you do that, you're going to get the right people in your program, not the people that want to be told things, want to be told how great they are. You get the people that want to be challenged. And I think that's one thing our staff does a really good job of, is we bring the right people to this program, and hopefully we continue to do that. The people that are passionate about the game, are passionate about people, the people that are a good person, and make good decisions and have a lot of fun working harder than anybody in the country.
Gabby, a few in the back there.
Over here. Caleb McCullough, one of the few
you guys on the roster who was here before you got here, and a few weeks ago had nothing but good things to say, talking to him about what you've done for the program and culture. So how have you seen him grow from when you first took over the program to now?
Yeah, I mean, Caleb's one of my favorite kids on the team because he just does everything you ask over and over and over again. He's in the best shape of his life right now. He's bigger than he's ever been. He's faster than he's ever been. And he's playing better football than he's ever played. And like I said, talk about a dude who just persevered through it all. Right? He was here for the lowest of the lows. And he kept fighting. He didn't leave. And he kept fighting because he wanted to be a Sun Devil. And for him to make this play is just unbelievable for him. And it's going to be something he remembers forever. And it's a great lesson for him and for people that he persevered through something. He overcame the odds. He kept fighting. And his time came. And when his time came, he got the job done.
Back, Max, and then Blake.
Hey Kenny, Max Spade, Arizona's family. You spoke in a video near the beginning of the season talking about responding to success instead of responding to failure, and what the team was going to have to do when they had to respond to success instead of responding to failure, as they've seen over the last 2 years. After what happened tonight, and considering what's probably being talked about across the country tonight, particularly 6, 7, 8 a.m. tomorrow when they're previewing the game, saying, hey, look at Arizona State, what are you going to be telling the guys over the course of this weekend as they rest and throughout next week, reiterating that message of responding to success?
Yeah, I mean, the people telling us how good we are, I mean, they do such a great job that they picked us last. So, I mean, they obviously must be right. They must be right. We must listen to everything they say and take it as the absolute truth, right? And, but it's not about anything else. It's about us. Like, it's about us. It's about us. And we'll probably go in there. You know, we have Saturday and Sunday that are voluntary for them. And then we'll be back on a normal just because the week, we can't technically bring them in NCAA rules. So Monday we'll bring them in, and we'll probably tell them all the bad things we did, right? All the things we got to get better at. And we got to go on the road, Cincinnati, kick off at 9 a.m., right, which is a great challenge. And like I said last week in my press conference, there are no upsets in this league. Like this league, I think the spread, the average spread in this league this week was like 3.5. 3.5. Every day is a dogfight, and it's all about the teams who can mentally flush it and get right back to the main thing. And the main thing is just your thing. Just do it again and do it again and do it again. And that's the challenge, and that's going to be the message.
Go, Blake.
Hey, Kenny.
How are the Olympics?
They were very good. You were complimentary earlier in the week about Utah and their program. What do you have to say about the caliber of that program, Utes B? And then what was your message to Coach Whittingham post-game when you embraced?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that's a program. You know, that was a team. You could see their quarterback wasn't fully healthy. You know, he was battling, he was fighting. But that was a team that is a program. And like I said earlier, we hopefully, you know, we can build ourselves to be that program, not a team. Right now, we're a team working to build a program. And a program is not just a football coach. It's an athletic director, it's a president, it's a strength staff, it's a off-the-field staff, it's a recruiting staff. It's the commitment to keep the people in the building for a long period of time. And that's what Utah did from top to bottom as an organization. They kept the people that were passionate about Utah in the building, right? They kept the continuity. And that's what the program's about, and that's what we have to do here, and I have full belief we're going to do that. And my message to Coach Whittingham was, hey, it was before the game, you know, after the game we just shook hands, you know, congratulations. But it was, hey, I want to pick your brain whenever you choose to retire. I want you to come out to practice. I want you to tell me what I'm doing wrong, tell me what we can do better, and I want you to coach me. Because, like I said, the success he's had over a long period of time speaks for itself, and one game doesn't define that or his program, and I have the utmost respect for that program.
What did he say?
He said, congratulations, you guys are playing your butt off.
He didn't say yes.
Oh, to that question? Yeah, sorry, that was that. Before he goes, oh, of course. So, yeah, hopefully we'll see him come into help us out like tomorrow, you know.
Let's go right here, and then Adam.
Kenny, how does this win help with recruiting, especially with the local guys?
Yeah, local guys, I mean, that's on them. I don't know. We're going to recruit really good players here. There's a lot of really good players who want to be here. And I'm from here. I'm born and raised here. I would love for these local guys who are committed elsewhere to come here. But at the end of the day, we're going to win here. And you're either going to be a part of it or you're not. And you're either going to be like Jake Smith and you're going to be able to run off that field and go see your family after the game, and you're either going to be able to accomplish something in your own state that you can be proud of, or you're not. And I'm worried about getting people here that are passionate to be Sun Devils. Passionate to be Sun Devils, whether that means they're from California, Hawaii, Texas, New Mexico, Colorado, Utah, Florida. I don't care. I want people who are passionate, that when they show up campus, they say, dang, this is awesome. Like, this place is awesome. And I felt that growing up, so I know there's kids out there right now that are committed to bigger programs, that are committed to cooler programs, the programs that have won longer and we haven't won yet. But at the same token, the challenge is we're going to go sign good players here. And I'm not going to chase the guys here. The guys here are the best players in this state. If they want to be a part of this, they have that opportunity. But we're going to sign really good players, and I hope it's the kids in the state, but at the end of the day, that's on them.
Adam.
Coach, you've challenged fans time and time again to show up and show out every single game. The packed student section still through the fourth quarter and that delay a game on Utah's last drive. Just how much were they possibly a factor at the end of the game tonight?
We're one of the best student sections in college football. It's because we have one of the biggest universities in college football. And that's our power. Our power here at Arizona State is with numbers. Our power is with the amount of people that should be invested in this place is our greatest strength. And we got to really tap into that. If you're a person who's an alumni, send our game to somebody, our score, right? That's also an alumni that's disconnected. We have to reconnect everybody who was once connected to this place. We have to reconnect them because the power in this school, the power in this city is in numbers. And if we can unite, if we can come together, this can be one of the best environments in college football, but we can do something here that people have thought should be done for a long time. We can get it accomplished. It's going to take some time. It's not going to happen overnight. There's going to be more failures this year than people want, but that's part of the build. But that that crowd is unbelievable. One thing I will say is we're on offense. We don't need to cheer. We're on defense. We need to cheer really loud, right? So I'm going to get with our crew. We're going to have to put up some signs to get this cheering thing rocking, right, for the fans.
A couple more. Back.
Patrick Howard, Crunching News. So 2 questions. First, what does it mean that your parents are here with a game like this being part of the meetings? And second, does your dad have a hardball type quote for us this night?
Nah, I don't know if he has a hardball type quote, but no, it's awesome. I mean, that's why you come home. That's why myself, my wife, Bree always dreamt of being here, being the head coach here. I mean, we're moving into a house that's 3 doors down from them, and the back fence is connected to my sister. And then her parents live 4 minutes away, and my other brother lives 12 minutes from there. So I'm really excited for somebody to negatively recruit against us and staff continuity.
Coach, in the middle of the week when Cam Rising is announced that he's going to play, how does your messaging to your defense change, or did it change at all, and what was that messaging to your defense?
Same exact message, same thing I told everybody on Monday. We're playing Utah, bottom line. But more importantly, has anybody noticed who's been on the sideline for us? A famous former quarterback. Anybody notice? One of the best quarterbacks in the history of Arizona State.
Plummer?
Not Jake Plummer, Danny White. I meet with him every Sunday night, and he goes through the future opponent with me. You know, he's a great Sun Devil. He wanted to give back to the program, so we got him involved, because why would you not let him be involved, right? You'd be a fool to not. And he usually gives, the keys to victory, and his key to victory quote at the end was, "We have met the enemy, and he is us." And that's what I told the team, is it's all about us.